Without wasting time, I welcome everybody to the online class we've organized. And the first thing I want everybody to know is I'll try and carry everybody along in this meeting we are doing, because basically we have like three different sets here. Firstly, we have those sets that they don't really base on motherboard as their occupation. At least they are not much, but they want to at least know about how motherboard work. And we have second set here that they are their own job. They don't really work on motherboard as per chip level, but at least they have idea of how motherboard looks like, or how it work. Normally we call them card level engineer. Any engineer that their own job is that they should work lightly on motherboard, or let me say system, we call them card level engineer. And we have some that are working on motherboard, and those are the carcass we call chip level engineering. The reason why I'm explaining this is because this particular class I'll have to carry these three different sets along in my explanation. So that's why I need to say this early before starting the class. Without wasting time, we'll go into the topic we have for today. Firstly, what is the aim of this class? Basically, all of us here, we have one or two information or skill concerning motherboard repair, but the aim of this class is to at least enlighten us as per how motherboard work. How can we approach motherboard fault? It is not that you just pick up the motherboard and you gamble, do it and try. Before you can repair motherboard, or let me say before you can repair anything generally, this is Nigeria. Before you can repair anything generally, you will really need to understand how the stuff is working. That is why you need to understand how motherboard work. Before you can repair motherboard, firstly, it is important for you to understand how motherboard work. Now, our light is back on. So you need to understand how motherboard work perfectly before you can repair it, or before you think of how to repair it. I hope you guys are understanding. Firstly, I want you guys to understand that whenever we are talking about motherboard, we are actually talking about communication of different sections. I want you guys to see motherboard as a company that are working together in different sections to achieve just one aim. Whenever we are talking about motherboard, we have different sections in motherboard that they are all working individually to achieve just one single aim. So before you can do any manipulation there, it is important you really understand how it works. I want us to cite few examples here. Firstly, I will sketch some communications here. This is a block here, and this is another block here. Again, this is another block here, and finally this is another block here. If you should look at this block here, there are different ways they work. Firstly, I can say this is block A, this is block B, this is block C, and this is block D. Block A can be communicating with block B, and block B and block C are communicating. Block C and block D are communicating. The issue is more or less like having company. We all know that a company are working to achieve one aim, but there are some brand there that are working on probably the plastic. Some are working on the branding, some are working on the main content of the production. So the work of all of them all are now being combined to achieve just one aim. So if there is delay or issue in one section there, it will affect the final production. So therefore they all need to work as at when due, like they all need to work properly as at when due. So if you look at this communication, A and B, they are communicating, but within Mr. B and C, they are communicating as well. And if you look Mr. A and C, there is no communication between them. That is, even though there is going to be communication between A and C, there is going to be an intermediary. So without this intermediary, Mr. B, they can't communicate. So therefore, if there is problem with Mr. B, automatically it's going to affect communication of Mr. A and Mr. C, because they are all working together. That is one section. Let me show you another diagram here. Let's assume this is one section and this is another section here. This is another section here and this is another section here again. I want this rotational and like the straight one in the first case. Just like the first one. Mr. A here, Mr. B here, Mr. C here, and Mr. D here. The same communication that is going on in the first place is the same thing going on here, but the only difference here is that Mr. C is refeeding the information back to Mr. A, so it's now making the communication more rotational, unlike the first one that is going one wayward. When all this information circulate to this point, is starting from the Mr. A again. So what is the aim of all this communication here? Is nothing but whenever we are talking about motherboard here, there is specific way they communicate. So this last diagram will explain it better as far as motherboard is concerned. This final one here, if you should look carefully, if you should look at communication carefully here, what it's trying to tell us is nothing but that the paramount controller in this communication here is Mr. E. Why? Because if you should look at this communication properly, Mr. E has access to communicate, has access to communicate with the rest, of which A has no relationship with B, B has no relationship with C, but if there is going to be any communication at all between A and C, it has to pass through Mr. E. That is exactly how laptop work. There is always one intermediary or determinant in between them. So in the case of laptop here, if we should approach this from the perspective of laptop, firstly, what is laptop? If you are going to buy motor now, they will tell you engine is the real motor. They are not trying to tell you that you climb on the engine and start driving. All they are trying to let you know is that the motor engine is the key determinant of the vehicle. mostly every other part of the vehicle, in part of sensor and the like, they are always connected to the engine. That is why they usually conclude engine is the main vehicle. Every other part, so whenever we're talking about laptop, every other part like mouse, keyboard, USB, HDMI, VGA, screen and co, they are all connected to motherboard. So that is why we say motherboard is the main laptop. So now whenever we are talking about motherboard, what is motherboard itself? What is motherboard itself? So that is where we start this motherboard. As at the beginning, when the production of motherboard begin, there is something we call generation. What they are trying to communicate with the generation is just that the upgrade of computer, upgrade of motherboard, like from first generation, second generation. That is what they are trying to let us know when we are talking about generation in motherboard. So sorry, I can't open this camera anymore. Okay. I don't know why the camera can't open. We'll sort that later. Let me just continue. I want to copy the generations from my hard drive because this is not my PC. I'm just using this one for tutorial. Okay, yeah. As at the beginning, we should look at this sketch. It is a communication system between motherboard, and if we should look at this sketch, there is nothing this thing is communicating than the communication that is going on between these components, because they are all working together to achieve one aim, like I've said earlier on. Firstly, what do we mean by motherboard that I was talking earlier on? This is the main motherboard, this ICH here. Why is it that this is the motherboard? Because this is the main chip that is controlling almost all the activities of the motherboard. This is the chip that looks like intermediary, just like the first sketch we've drawn here. Role of Mr. E in this sketch here is played by ICH in motherboard. So why you are seeing it like there is no function here for the ICH is because of how they design this image. Every other thing here like USB, serial port, audio LAN, Wi-Fi, SATA hard drive and co, they are all also like the other image we have above here. So and they are all controlled by the ICH. So what is the communication going on here? The ICH is communicating with the GMCH, which is the graphics media controller hub. The only paramount work of the GMCH is that it communicates with the RAM, and the other work is to handle anything that has to do with laptop display information, like the information on motherboard. What I mean is the screen, HDMI, VGA. We should look at them here. Their main source of power is the GMCH. So they can't work alone. Okay. They can't work alone except GMCH is working perfectly. So now, what was the key point of this conversation here? When they started motherboard production, the first generation here, the technology of the first generation is the ICH architecture, and ICH is the paramount chipset here. Later they thought of doing new sets, and the new sets are created as well. And why do they do this? Wait, let me see this camera. I'll come back to this one so I won't waste time. So what are the first sets they produced? And these are the first set. Later, when they thought of upgrading by producing something higher, firstly, anytime they are talking about generation, and like when they are talking about higher generation, probably we are talking previous generation and newer generation. Obviously, the newer generation will be more functional than the previous one. So now when they started first, they started with ICH technology, which are the carcass of high generation. So later they started the second ones here. But this second one, they started with trial version, and the trial version, they are PCH technology, but they are late first generation. So those are the one that has processors, and those R&D processors that has two glasses here. I will show them later. I will show you their picture later in the video. So what's the difference of this generation here? The only difference here is that they've changed their communication system here by eliminating GMCH here. So by eliminating GMCH, that will help them in producing more compact system. So it will reduce the cost of production as far as production is concerned. The laptop will be more compact. But for the fact that they want to eliminate GMCH doesn't mean that laptop won't have RAM anymore, or laptop won't have display section anymore, because we are eliminating GMCH. So what are we going to do now? They will have to shift the functionality of this RAM functionality to processor, and it's more or less like having, okay, your processor, your task has been added to by handling the activities of the RAM. So followed by the display section of the GMCH, and they feel like, Mr. ICH, okay, it is now your time to take over the functionality of GMCH, because and the display functionality of GMCH, because we don't have GMCH anymore. So therefore you have to add this to your previous list, because now we've upgraded you, we have to change your name, and that is why they tag this one now as PCH, peripheral controller hub. You now understand? So by the time they produce GMCH, those first generation they produce, those late first generation, those are the processor that has two glass on the chip. We call them R&D. Let me open it for you here. You should be familiar with the processor. These are the processors here, and this is the processor here, first generation. Boards that use this first generation, they are late first generation, because dual core is first generation as well. So board that uses this dual processor, and if you should put this second or third generation, it won't work because they are not compatible. Going back to the initial conversation here, in the first place, when they started, we call something BIOS. BIOS is a very, very important section in the motherboard, because whenever we are talking about motherboard, we'll be talking about soft start and hard start. Anytime we are talking about hard start and soft start, is more or less like talking about software and hardware. System will first fulfill the hard start process, that is what has to do with checking voltage, voltage distribution, current distribution and co. After those parts is fully fulfilled, then it will start the soft start. So the only major component that is responsible for the soft start process is the BIOS. BIOS is more or less like command that has been written. As in, okay, tell Mr. A to do this when Mr. This have getting this voltage. Tell Mr. This to do this when they press power button. It's more or less like series of instruction that has been encoded there. Just like telling display to come when this is this. Tell Mr. Display to pop up when this is that. So whenever we are talking about system is soft starting, BIOS is responsible for the process. And even BIOS has series of problem. Like we have series of problem we can trace back to BIOS, as in problem that BIOS are responsible for. So most likely I will start tomorrow's class most likely with BIOS issues, probably like 10 to 12 of them. Now when they are done with the second gen, they've achieved their aim. If you should look here, it is written here late first gen, that is what processor I mean by Arendelle. By the time they started with Sandy Bridge, Arendelle, those are the second generation and third generation till fourth generation that are using PCH. Those fourth generation that uses PCH, those are the processor that are on board. Actually, those third generation, they are also fourth generation. They are the early fourth generation, because those early fourth generation, they were used to test run on board processor, just like when they use PCH to test run late first generation here. So on board processor that uses PCH are fourth generation carcass. They were just used to test run how performance of onboard processor, SoC, is going to be. All these, they are trying to reduce cost of production and increase performance of system as well. Like I've said earlier on, if generation of system has increased, automatically the functionality will increase. In fact, generation is much more important than going for checking the processor first. If you were given system of lower generation of i7 and you have higher generation to be Pentium, there is higher probability that will be faster than the old i7, because the performance of that higher generation will manifest over the late generation, regardless of whether it is core i7 or i5 processor. In fact, generation can be paramount when considering system speed. After test running that, now they launch the final one here. And the final one here is the SoC, which is the onboard processor. This is the main one they want to do before doing this as test running. This one that has PCH. For this particular carcass, this PCH function here, this PCH function here, this part of the board, this PCH, this is the PCH here, peripheral controller hub, and this is the CPU, central processing unit. That is it. This particular board too still has PCH, but the point is the PCH has been attached with the CPU, and the main key here is if we should check the value of this SoC chip, the coil that supply this SoC chip, or let me say it like this: if this chip is still alive, 100% the board will work. But if this chip is dead, 100% the board can never work, because this is the only chip that is on the board, and in this case, this chip is only communicating with the I/O, and their communication is nothing but I give you input, you give me output, I give you input, you give me return. So they are only communicating with each other. Every other functionality that started from the first generation has been connected to the SoC chip. So do we now understand this section? Do we all understand this section? So I should proceed. Okay. So I should proceed here. Okay, we are back here. So now I can continue from here. I want to wait for one or two people before continue, but I can continue from here. So now I want us to merge one or two images here based on board that we are going to open. I want us to merge one or two images here based on the board we are opening. Firstly, I open this. So we are going to merge this together. I want us to be familiar with the different type of board before entering it. You wonder that why is it that we've been lamenting on these chipsets? There is no reason other than these chipsets are the major determinant that determines whether the system will work or not. Every other chipset or every other component of motherboard, their only work is to support those chipsets to work. That is why we are placing all our attention on this chipset. So how all these are working, I will explain them one after the other. Firstly, this board we open here is a PCH technology. So therefore we are going to open this. This is where it belongs to. So I will label them one after the other here. Another color. This is Acer board. This is the IO. Make sure that in again BIOS. This is the BIOS. If this is BIOS, it is going to be for this. So therefore the communication will be like this, from the processor to PCH, from PCH to IO, and from IO to BIOS. From this BIOS, they will be communicating with each other. So that is the communication here. Let me screenshot this. Do we now understand? Okay,
I'm following Mr. Nado.
Alright. So that's clear. Let me cite another one again. Okay, good. This is SOC. Okay. So if you should look at this board, this is their board here, and this is the SOC, system on chip. This is the BIOS here, and which other one? The other one will be behind the board, which is the IO. Okay, this is it here. So therefore here the communication will come from ear to ear, from ear to ear. That is how the communication is going to be. I'll leave the remaining one. So based on motherboard generation or non-generation, you guys have now understand that part clearly. Why do we have to understand generation, this board generation? Why are we so placing more attention on them? Why do we have to understand the generation of board? Firstly, the generation of board we are dealing with. We need to understand in the sense that so that you will know what are your expectations in your readings whenever you are troubleshooting it. That's the first important thing. And the second thing, why we need to understand the kind of board we are handling, is if you are working on motherboard, we have different tools we use like DC supply, oscilloscope, multimeter. The major one is the multimeter and DC supply. On all these gadgets, we have expectation based on the type of generation we are handling. I mean, like if this board is going to power, what is the value I should get here on this reading? That is why we need to understand why the type of board we are handling. If we are talking about motherboard generally, I'll show you one or two motherboard scenario. Okay. All we've been discussing here, first gen that has the first thing I said, it has two glasses. This is the first gen here, Arendelle, and this is the PCH. So other side of the board, we are going to have the BIOS and the IO. So this is the IO, and BIOS will be closer to it. If I can't find it there, I'll come behind the board here. Yeah, this is the BIOS here. So why are we placing attention on them? These are the main chip that are working on this board. They are the major thing why we call this thing laptop. I need to mute this, sorry, it's disturbing. Okay, they are the main component working why we call them laptop. Every other component on the motherboard, they are only working to power all these chipsets. For instance, if I'm talking about chipsets, this is very, very interesting. If I'm talking about chipsets in schematic, let me open one schematic. If I'm talking about chipset, it's more or less like talking about a building individually. So in that building, we will have different estates. Let me say an estate. In that estate, or let's assume this is a PCH. Let's assume this is a PCH, peripheral controller hub. In that PCH, we will have different blocks, just like an estate. We will have different house there. So this different type of house, we have different. We are going to have different kind of house there. So, and they are all working on different principle. So look at these blocks here. Let's assume this is my PCH. In this one, we can now see this is 4 by 4. This is 16. For example, it's always more than that, but for example, let's assume this is the PCH here. This is block A here. This block A can be running on 5 volt, that is, it is powered by 5 volt. Block B can be powering with 3 volts. Block C here can be powering with 1.05 volts. Block D here can be powering with another 3 volts, probably another rail, but sharp 3 volts. Another block here, E, it can be powering with maybe 1.8 volts. On and on and on and on and on and on to the rest. And what we are trying to explain here is that this every other component we said they are supporting those shift sets. They are only there to generate power that will be fed to each section here that needs the power to work. That is why whenever we are working on motherboard, we are tracing this, we are checking this with the belief that if these are present, automatically they are going to the destination we want them to go to deliver as they are expected. That is to power those sections. So it is important to check the working condition of all these supporters. Now, if you are not talking about board is not working or a section is not working, it is divided into 2 sections. Firstly, the first section is the inner part of the PCH these voltages are going to power. All these ones. And I mean the inner part, I mean here. So the first step here are the block inside the PCH. So that's the first part. If this place is run on 5 volts and we know the 5 volts is coming from here, that is where the issue of voltage is important. If this section is not working, it's either this 5 volts is missing or this block is condemned. And if this one is condemned, automatically this whole block will not be functional since one of them is not working, because you can't repair them individually. This one as well, if this one is powering on 1.8 and there is issue here, is either there should be issue in this 1.8 block or there should be issue in the source of the voltage fed. So what are those things engineers are replying? What are those things engineers are repairing? We are repairing these subordinates here, or this supporter here. If you are to repair the PCH, you will have to change it. Then if you are going to do this, you have BGA chip. Then if there is issue with them, you just change it. That is the 2 sections we have the problem, supporter or the destination itself. So let me take a screenshot of this. Okay, good. Okay, this is another schematic. I will go to we are still going to talk about this schematic in details. Here, if you should look at this board, if you look at this schematic without even seeing the board, this board is definitely using 4th generation, and the PCH it is using, this is it here. So if you should look at this CPU, firstly they told us here this CPU has been divided to these following pages. Let me zoom out so that you can see it clearly. This, or let me open another schematic that has more detailed information. Are we understanding this? In your camp, méjì down.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ọ̀gá mi sà ó yé o à ń fọkàn bá lọ. ó yé mi sà ó yé.
Everybody mute. So everybody should mute their mic. Here, if you should look, the communication we've talked about before, this is the processor. That happens to be processor, the 1st generation I've explained earlier on. This is the GMCH here, graphics media controller. This is the GMCH here. This is the ICH here. We will carefully talk about schematic because this whole class is basically on schematic. So we are going to talk about it carefully. But here I'm just trying to cite example of class I'm currently taking. Here, if you should look at this place, what I was explaining initially, I said they used to have different blocks. Now they are telling me here on this page that in this schematic, if I should go to page 7, if I should go to This page 7, page 8, page 9 are used to explain processor. And for the GMCH, this page 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15, they are used to explain GMCH. Another one here again, here the ICH part is explained on page 22, 23, 24, 25. Please, I need to mute this, it's disturbing. Okay, they use page 22, 23, 24, 24 and 25 to explain ICH. Now if you should look at this place, like I've explained earlier on, firstly, part of those voltage that are powering a block in this ICH, we have 5 volts always. Another voltage that powers a block there again, this is 5 volts. These two are 5 volts, but their time are different. Time they are generating are different. If you check on meter, you will meet 5 volts on the both, but their time is different. This is another one here, the voltage that is coming from CMOS, and this is another 3 volts here. This is another 3.3 volts here again. This is another 1.5 volts. This is another 1.05 volts. So all of these voltages are fed to the ICH. So if we are checking all these voltage, this is where they are coming. So now let's go to where these voltages are used. So let's go to page 22 for the ICH. This is page 22 here. Yeah, this is it here. ICH 9. So here in this ICH, part of those block, this is PCI block. So these are the pins that are used for PCI block. What do they mean by this D9, D11? When we are talking about BGA chip, they used to have, let's assume this is a component. Whenever we are talking about BGA chip, board grid array, let me use bigger pen. They used to arrange their pin under the chip, not normal IC that will have their pin beside them. That is what brought about D9, C8, I mean alphabet and number, alphanumeric, alphabet and number. This is because of the BGA chip. Let me put another one here. Then money be by. Okay. So whenever we are talking about D11, there is a numbering system for them. The D11 is only numbering system. When we are talking about normal IC, you know it's going to have its own leg like this. Let's assume this is 3x3 IC. Then this is going to be 12. 3x3. So if we want to count this is simple: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and co. But here, it is counted on row and column, based on row and column. Let's assume this is row 1. Let me use tiny pen. This is row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, and this is column A, column B, column C, column D, column E, F, and G. So when they label whether we are going for A3 or D3, so you have to count from here 1, 2, 3, this line 3 and row D. The point where they intercept, let me use another column. The point, okay, let me use something thicker. The point where D and 3 intersects is the part we call D3. So this pin is my D3 pin. That is, excuse me. The same thing goes for this. That is what led to D11, C8, D9, E12. This one here, AD0, AD2 are under the chip. In a nutshell, what brought us here is the block. This is PCI block. Another block here is interrupt interface. This is a kind of communication. This is a kind of communication interrupt interface. We're actually talking about the block here. So this is a block here. We should no, they said they use only 3 pages. This is another one. We have enough of them here. These are the blocks here. So this is it. RTC block. This is LPC block, communication between PCH and IO. This is LAN block. This is the block that is used to control the LAN of the motherboard. This is the CPU block. This chipset also have internal CPU. So this is the CPU block. This is IHDA. This line is used to control communication between peripheral devices. You have different kind of peripheral device. This is another one, SATA. This is another peripheral device. This one, device like hard drive, CD-ROM. This is the block is using to communicate with those peripheral device. So what I'm trying to say here is that these chipsets here, they have different blocks that are run with different voltages. That is more reason why we need to understand this chipset, relation of chipset and these voltages. So whenever we are tracing voltage, we need to understand we are tracing them because of this. Do we all understand? Okay. Shoye, do we all understand?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm telling you, Mr. Nado.
In case you about to lose connection, you man fair confirm. So I always want to confirm in case if you lose connection. So let's proceed. At this point here, now I believe we are clear with the generation here. The next topic, but for this topic, where is the parts we are finding convincing? Let me just re-explain. Ngolo wa nbe tí ó yé èèyàn kí a lè fi duration ìkéré tó kéré ṣàlàyé. Ta ló náwó ẹ̀?
Ọ̀gá mi sà.
Yes sir.
Mo náwó.
Okay, ń gbọ́.
Àwọn blọ́ọ̀kù A, B, A1.
Let me help this person. This person is asking question that what is our business with this A, D11, C9, E12 and co? So that is the question. Why are we talking about this? So let me answer the question here now. I'm summarizing the question here, just like I've summarized earlier on. Now the answer. What led us here now is that we are trying to explain that all these chipsets, we are placing attention on them because all these chipsets, despite how smaller they have a lot of functions they are doing. And how are they doing these different functions? This is because they have different blocks in them that are controlling different sections. We've explained this 676 pin at the earlier stage, then you understand this part. But this is just an introduction. The point now is if you should remove these chipsets, you will find out the pins under. If you don't, they are not left-sided one. So those balls under it, the way they've counted them is what we are trying to explain here. That is, if our voltage are generating, where are they going? Even though if we don't have access to that destination, because it is not possible for us to check under the chip like the normal one that have their own at their side. Now, since it is not possible, we can confirm at the source of the information. That is why we need to understand the destination. Do you now understand?
Oye báyọ̀ ọ̀gá, oye mi, ó ti mi báyìí.
Alright. Okay, 10 minutes.
Oye wa, I'm falling behind, sir.
10 after, not that.
Hello?
Any other question? A question is coming through.
Kwẹ́dẹ̀ mi fẹ́ bèrè níbi orí. Hello?
Mo ń gbọ́.
Hello, Gami.
Mo ń gbọ́.
Hello?
Nẹ́tíwọ́ọ̀kì yóò dáa ní.
Mo ń gbọ́.
Kwẹ́dẹ̀. Because me attend the class ní the other time yẹn. Tí VGA tí a ṣe yẹn.
Yeah.
Ṣé a tún lè ní VGA yẹn tó bá yẹ kó bá ń gbọ̀n níbi ojú display? Ṣé VGA náà ló lè fà?
The question now is, if you are having flickering display, does that mean the fault is coming from the VGA? That is
Tó bá ń gbọ̀n tí ó máa ṣe dàbí OSBC tí network yóò clear dáadáa.
Like something like you have stable network whenever you are watching your TV.
Yeah, tó bá ń gbọ̀n mo ń gbọ́.
So does that mean the fault is coming from the VGA? I mean,
Ṣé ní VGA ọ̀bọ̀dé náà lè fà?
that is.
So most of the time,
So now, let me answer. Whenever we are talking about fault on motherboard, the fault can come from any angle, but mostly when engineers are referring to when they say it has VGA fault, what you're trying to refer to is that there is a chip on the motherboard we call graphics chip. Aside from GMCH, a dedicated chip that is designed to handle display individually. That chip used to have its own RAM, and that chip, it gets weak easily. Aside from that chip, aside from the fact that it gets weak easily, that VGA chip gets weak easily. Mostly when they are saying laptop has VGA issue, they are actually referring to that chip to be weak. So when they hit it, it works for the main time and stop. That doesn't necessarily mean because the screen is flickering, you can just conclude that the problem is coming from the VGA chip. It's not always like that. You need to trace faults. How can we conclude it is VGA fault? There are one or two things you will check before you confirm if it is VGA or not. Do you now understand?
Oh yes, sir.
Any other question? Okay. Because everybody has turned on their mic and there is a lot of disturbance here. I'm just trying to scan through and give you the important ones here.
Hello.
Yeah?
Question, sir.
Okay. Question.
Fún mi ní BGA.
BGA. The person said, okay. The person said the full meaning of BGA. Okay. Ball grid array. Nǹkan tó fi ń pè ní ball ojú wípé why they call it ball is because if you should remove it, if you want to do the practical, just remove the chip. If you should remove it, you find some ball, like some soldering ball under it. That is why they call it ball grid array. So
you are welcome. Talk. Ayomide.
Oga.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Adam.
Yeah.
PGA is that's why. Like
the network of this person is not good. Let me get the message. I will summarize and I will answer.
Hello, Nado.
Yeah, mo ń gbọ́.
Yeah, ẹni tó bèrè ń pa full name of VGA yẹn. Mo fẹ́ try láti mọ̀ pé ṣé VGA yẹn ṣó ní full name méjì ni.
No, VGA.
So this person asks now that does BGA has two full meaning? But now let me differentiate. There is VGA, there is BGA. So now the person is asking, is he asking BGA? The person that asks question has BGA. So now there is difference between BGA and VGA. So now the difference now is VGA is video graphics array and BGA is ball grid array. They are different. BGA is talking about the ship. Then any ship can be BGA. VGA is specially dedicated chip for display. Another question.
ẹni tó sọ̀rọ̀ nípa VGA sí
Sure.
okay. ẹ ṣe Mr. Man fún.
So I'll reason the next topic because I want the class to be sequential before starting with the motherboard. So by the time we get into the voltage, we wouldn't need to mention all these chipsets anymore. Then you will have been familiar with those chipsets. So with time, I'll ask you guys to go home with motherboard and you confirm one or two things I'm taking.
Àti dórí circuit àti dórí meter irú bọ́ọ̀dù tẹ mú dání nísìnyí irú bọ́ọ̀dù wo ni ṣé PCH ló ń lò àbí ICH àbí SOC
ICH ló ń
lò bẹ́tà ẹ ti ń rí yàtọ̀ bọ́ọ̀dù síra.
So now at least the person can differentiate board from each other, like different board from each other. So we don't need to mix them up. My son is calling on me. So I think we are done with the class since there is no question for now. I would have said let me open issue of BIOS issue here. I'll just list them. But if I should start that now, that will be time consuming. So whenever I'm treating any topic that is light, then I'll talk about BIOS. Probably short topic. So I'm not.
Hello, Mr. Hado.
Èèyàn kan sọ̀rọ̀ next time tá a máa ṣe meeting.
As in tutorial yẹn ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ̀rọ̀ lórí BIOS yẹn better.
Okay. No. Má dẹ́nu lé BIOS yẹ ká sọ̀rọ̀ BIOS díẹ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ náà introduction ló máa bí introduction ló ṣe máa rí. But tí má dẹ́nu lé BIOS ń bí báyìí ó máa gba time díẹ̀.
Okay, sir. Okay,
next. Tí yóò fẹ́ jù.
So what I'm
torí BIOS yẹn a fẹ́ mú pẹ̀lú example iṣẹ́ BIOS gùn gan tó gùn gan àwọn kan jókòó tí.
BIOS is wide and you have people that they are just doing all they are doing is BIOS alone. So but at least I will introduce you guys to it before going to it deeply.
Kàní ọtí gbogbo ilé ọba bínú.
Okay.
This person here is asking if the meeting can be extended to 1 hour.
So fún wọn ní
1 hour or 2 hours. So that is the summary of what the person is requesting for on the video.
observe ni o torí mo really enjoy platform yìí gan because it's our job so I need láti learn more because kò ó really rí ẹ nínú gbogbo tí ń ṣe kínní àwọn understand that pé bóyá irú platform ti wà bóyá bí 5 years ago ni mo believe pé ní our job kódà our so more improve more than that so ẹ má bínú gbogbo ilé ẹjọ́ ń tọrọ lọ mo kàn observe ni o ẹjọ́. kí lè bá a rí sẹ́sìn.
ẹni tó ń draw kíní yẹn kó jọ kó stop bóyá ń draw ẹ̀ mọ́ ń parí ọ̀dẹ̀ tó ń draw. So ọ̀rọ̀ tí Aloshi sọ bóyá a máa discuss yẹn better ní group àbí kí lẹ feel.
Hello.
Final talk fẹ́ gbọ́ yìí o. Mo gbọ́.
This person. I'll summarize what he's saying.
Yóò dákẹ́ ló ti dé.
As you can see, I'll mute this person and move on to the next person. It's like I'm hearing clearly. No. Still not good.
Okay, mo gbọ́.
Hello.
Máa ní láti mute.
ẹjọ́ ẹ bá
So here we are going to round off the class and we'll continue if there's any other thing to discuss in my group. So now let's do the closing prayer. So alright, thank you everybody, thank you for watching.